Now that all hype is over, is Assassin's Creed Mirage worth playing after almost 3 months? Well, in this video, I'm gonna be able to let you decide it. I'm gonna be talking what I liked in the game, but also things that could have been better. But before getting in the video, I would appreciate a like and feel free to subscribe to this channel cause it takes time to produce content like this. And also a happy new year to your loved ones and your family. Alright, let's start with the things that I liked in this game. Obviously, the game is a little more like the OG Assassin's Creed games. It is marketed like that, in the whole marketing campaign was like, back to the roots. So it is like the OG Assassin's Creed game. It is more stealth and parkour focused in nature, and that is what I think is the core of any Assassin's Creed game. So generally, that's a good thing. But the game also has similarities to the recent AC games. For example, the combat is much more like the newer Assassin's Creed games, and the whole UI of the game is also very similar. And if you didn't know, this is about to be an Assassin's Creed Valhalla DLC, so it looks the same as Assassin's Creed Valhalla in terms of graphics. I like how the game does not have a lot of filler, which I appreciate a lot. It is straight to the point with no BS involved in order to do a certain mission. You don't have to achieve a certain level or rank to unlock stories. You can proceed with doing missions whenever you want. You just need to find clues for it. There's no level system in this game as it was there in the previous RPG titles. You do have ranks in the overall assassin system, like for example there is a master rank, there's apprentice and stuff like that, but it does not change anything that much, to be honest. Leveling up your gear is definitely gonna make it easier to deal with enemies, but by no means it is that hard. Till a certain point in the game, I did not level anything, but still was able to do missions pretty easily. If you know how to make good use of the counter system, then it is gonna be very easy for you. And I wanna be honest with you, I did not die a single time throughout the whole playtime in this game, and that is kind of shocking to me as well. Also, the tools in this game are very useful, and they are not even that expensive to buy. This makes stealth much more favorable rather than indulging in combat directly. Especially smoke bombs, throwing knives, and the sleep dart is completely broken in this game. I also like how the game looks in general. The Middle Eastern theme makes it very reminiscent to Assassin's Creed 1. That brings some nostalgia. And also there is an Assassin's Creed 1 filter that looks really sick. Especially if you are the fan of OG Assassin's Creed games, then you are definitely gonna appreciate how it looks. The artwork in this game is also pretty good. It's so unbelievable that they could pull out the minor details on the structures in this game. I really appreciate Ubisoft for that. And a lot of the things in the game, like for example there's different props in the game, they are completely handmade and it looks very good, to be honest. It really looks like it is something out of Middle East. It does not look weird or something like that. It just feels very good. Even small details like the doors and stuff like that, they are different in different areas and stuff like that. So they are very minor details that you're gonna appreciate a lot in this game. Story is also a lot more concise. It's very fast going. I didn't get bored throughout the playtime. Even though the story was not that outstanding, the gameplay loop of this game will make you play it more. It's just constant infiltration, spying on people, tailing people, assassinating people, and all the things that assassins do. And those were the things that were missing from the Assassin's Creed RPG games. And they cater a different audience, but I still feel like this is the essence of any Assassin's Creed game. These are the things that should be there in an Assassin's Creed game. I just personally feel like that. And even though a lot of people talked about how bad the parkour is, but I actually kind of liked it. Obviously it is not anything close to Assassin's Creed Unity's parkour. Obviously we saw the trailer and everything, and they were not doing that. Not the best, but it's definitely better than some other Assassin's Creed games, to be honest. For example, it's obviously better than Assassin's Creed Valhalla, Odyssey and stuff like that. Like literally no one can disagree with that. It's also about expectations. A lot of people were expecting it to be this game that is gonna change everything. It's gonna go completely back to the roots, which is not possible because the game is made by a smaller studio first of all, and it is literally a DLC. It was converted into a game after some time that they thought that it's gonna be a little more bigger and just not suitable to put it as a DLC, so they made a separate game for this. But I don't think so. People should think this game in a way that is some kind of revolution in the AC series or something like that. But it was just a buffer game between the newer Assassin's Creed game, the next ones, Assassin's Creed Codename Hexa, Codename Red, stuff like that. Now let's let's talk about the thing that I did not like about this game. It feels like the game is just too similar to Assassin's Creed Valhalla. That necessarily is not bad, but it shows a sign of laziness. Considering the game had a different theme and time period, the way the UI was designed should have looked different in my opinion. The game also has a ton of similarities to Valhalla in terms of the combat, the way dialogues are delivered, how the game looks graphically, and a lot more things. It just feels like the same, theme design for Valhalla, which is based on England, and the northern part of the world. It just kind of looks weird in a Middle Eastern setting, to be honest. It could have been different and much more suitable for a Middle Eastern theme, in my opinion. They just changed some colors, some fonts here and there, but I don't think so, it's that much of a difference compared to what the time period was. Now, this can create some differences in opinions, but the game was designed for people who like the traditional type of Assassin's Creed games, right? So them having to kind of make Mirage out of an RPG game can make people irritated, obviously. Valhalla was a completely different game. Why would they make, a game like this, which is set to be back to the roots, completely made out of Valhalla? They're gonna think, why, man? Why did this happen? Now, there are people who like both the types of games, the traditional ones as well as the RPG ones. They might like the game, but still, I do think those people probably would have liked to see more change as well, right? We like to see changes in Assassin's Creed games. We don't like the same things repeated again and again. Otherwise, what Assassin's Creed now wouldn't be Assassin's Creed game, right? If Assassin's Creed 2 wasn't changed from Assassin's Creed 1 and it had similar elements to it, people wouldn't like it that much and it would not be this successful as it is currently, but that is what they are currently doing right now. The game needs a good amount of change, in my opinion. Ubisoft have this thing that they try to create games for every type of player, and it feels like they wanted to cater all different types of player by this game. But to be honest, some people will just not like a specific game no matter how much bias you have towards making a specific type of game. It's just a weird mix of two games that does not serve the purpose of the game, the whole back to the roots thing. Now let's talk about the things that I really want them to change, and it is necessary for the series to grow, in my opinion. First is how the story is conveyed. In the recent years, the series has been going completely down in terms of conversations in the games and the dialogues as well, and it just looks subpar compared to other AAA titles. I don't know, it feels very automated, so to speak. There's something about the dialogues that were there in the OG Assassin's Creed games that makes the story of the game much better. The characters also go hand in hand. Because of how bad the dialogues are in the game, it just makes the characters look goofy as well. The only character I liked was probably Roshan in this whole game. That too because she is voiced by a pretty good voice actor. She carried the game in this element for sure. The other characters just did not have the same way of delivering the dialogue. Even Basim's dialogues felt goofy at different places, especially when he was young. I also felt like the transformation of Basim was not properly done. He went from looking like a fool to an assassin without gradual shift. It was like a sudden jump. Obviously, the game was smaller in length, so it could have been harder to achieve it in a limited amount of time. But they transformed him in a span of minutes. Now, I'm not going to talk about more of the story, but there's some things that I think could have been better, obviously. The game's combat is also pretty outdated compared to other AAA games. Even though I'm a fan of the OG Assassin's Creed games, I just feel like the normal counter system of one hit kill is pretty bad. At that time, it could have been good, but now other AAA games are really stepping up their combat, and Assassin's Creed Mirage in between just feels very weird and in a very weird position. I actually would like them to have a combat little similar to what we saw in Assassin's Creed Syndicate. It was really satisfying in my opinion. It just is very fast paced in that game. It just had this feeling that made the combat, much more enjoyable in my opinion in that game. I feel like the combat in this game is a lot more similar to, I would say, Assassin's Creed Unity, the slow sword fights. But to be honest, I did not like the combat of Assassin's Creed Unity as well, so I don't think it's a good reference point for the combat. They should probably take the combat system from games like, Assassin's Creed Syndicate, and there's a lot of other AAA titles that have good combat. For example, Ghost of Tsushima is good, Sekiro is good, and it's pretty funny that the next Assassin's Creed game is also gonna be set in a similar region as both of these games that I mentioned. Finally, the game is released on older gen hardwares like PS4 and Xbox Xbox One. That hinders the capabilities of a game drastically because they have to somehow make the game run on these hardwares, and these hardwares are pretty old in terms of technologies and how well they can run the graphics and other necessary elements of the game. For example, the density, the lighting, textures, ray tracing and more. In the older gen consoles there was no sort of ray tracing in that because that was made out of old hardwares. Those were produced when ray tracing was not even the whole RTX thing came in like 2018. I guess the first RTX cards came at that time. 2018 is when RTX 20 series came, right? So that was the time when the ray tracing suddenly got a very big boost, and PS4 hardwares were made like, I don't know, 2011 12 something like that, and they was in the market like in 2014 or something like that. So there's been a huge change in terms of the whole graphics. The older hardwares just cannot have these massive games run on them because they are just not designed for these things. Like for example, if you see the newer other AAA titles, those which run on the new gen hardwares, just compare it with the games that run on the old hardwares as well. There's gonna be a massive difference between the games because the developers are not worrying about the older gen hardware. They are just making it reach the full potential. That's what the developers are trying to do, and they don't have any sort of hindrance in between. Overall, I think it is worth giving a shot to this game, and it also depends if you're a hardcore Assassin's Creed fan or a guy who just plays different games and want to try more. If you are a hardcore Assassin's Creed fan, obviously you need to play it, right? If you're an average guy, I would recommend to get it on a sale. I think at the time of recording this video, there's a sale on Epic Games that is currently going on, but it is about to end soon, so make sure to get it in the sale if you want to try it. And that's just for this video, the first video of this year, guys. I'm really excited for this year, and I'm gonna be posting videos quite frequently, not like really frequently, but like in 1 week or 2 weeks, one video in that much time. I also have college stuff, so it is kind of hard for me to do that, but I'm gonna manage it somehow, and I really like making these videos. So make sure to like and sub, and make sure to comment down if you have any thoughts on this video and anything I can improve on. And if you have any topics that you want a video on, just make sure to comment down below. Anyways, I'll see you guys in the next one.